what can be described as an up-and-down day for the offense. San Francisco 49ers dropped their exhibition opener 24-13 to the Houston Texans. I'm Courtney Cronin. He's Cam Inman for the Bay Area News Group. Colin Kaepernick, we saw him out here earlier, not warming up, not doing much of anything. He was sidelined with shoulder tightness in his throwing arm. Blaine Gabbert does receive the start, and on the final play of his time out here on Sunday, a 43-yard touchdown to Vance McDonald.
Yeah, and it was something that they needed to see, because if he had gone onto the sideline after 3 series without any production, there would have been a lot more people clamoring to see Kaepernick. And I still don't think people are convinced or anything like that in terms of Blaine, but that drive really was big for him and for the offense, because he was able to keep the drive alive. He was mobile. He was scrambling. He had good pocket presence, and he put the ball on target to Vance, who's had trouble holding on to balls in his career. Not only that, he made a great move to get into the end zone. So I think that was really encouraging, something that they needed to see, because they didn't start out great, but you're talking about a small sample size on those first 2 drives. And for the first preseason game, he threw 2 bad passes, but they weren't long passes. They didn't get intercepted. So some people will say they weren't impressed, and it wasn't anything great, but it wasn't terrible, and it's fine.
The 2 turnovers early, the fumbles, one was picked up for a scoop and score, the other at the 2-yard line when the 49ers were going in to score. Big fumbles. Yeah. And how much of that do you blame, I guess, on these guys just learning this up-tempo scheme and going quick, or is that just pre-season jitters?
I'd probably say more just preseason. It happens. Fumbles happen in a game. They can't happen at the 2-yard line. Yeah. That's the one I think that's going to make people think twice about Dwan Harris and Thad Lewis down there. You cannot do it in that situation. Carlos Hyde, he was making an effort play, and the ball happened to come out. So Carlos is their #1 running back. His job's not in jeopardy at all, though, so that's fine. They ran 50-something plays in that first half, and that was like a whole game last season under Jim Tomsula. So we knew that was going to be the case, that they were going to be trying to have a lot of plays, get the defense on the opposing team tired. But the defense didn't really get that tired because you have 90 guys. So the Texans are able to get new people in the second half. The 49ers obviously down to their 3rd stringer. So that's why you didn't see the offensive production in the second half. So I don't think that's alarming. But, I think right now most of the story here is really, did Blaine Gabbert do enough to win the starting job? And I said a couple days ago it's his, and this didn't convince me otherwise. So, in Colin Kaepernick's situation, they say is day to day. And that's probably the bigger injury news is, well, what's going on? Did he have an MRI? He wouldn't say, Chip wouldn't say. I'll tell you what, if he's a $12 million quarterback and he has a problem with his throwing arm, he had an MRI. They're just not saying it.
Thad Lewis comes in midway through the first half and lasts a little bit longer than most people had thought. Chip Kelly said he was going to pull him right around the time that he got a lower leg injury in the 3rd quarter, and then Jeff Driscoll comes in. They didn't look like design runs by any means, but it wasn't just Driscoll taking off to do that as well. Saw a little bit of that from Thad Lewis early on. He
stayed in the pocket a little bit longer, but when you got to run for your life, and he's running, Thad was running. I mean, the same thing. Thad kept some drives alive by just his resiliency, and he broke a few tackles on a couple of those escapes. So you do what you have to do. The 49ers are going to run team, and they're going to need their quarterbacks to run. And so that's why these quarterbacks, that's their skill set's going to have to fit that system, because they will be called upon to run. They're behind a better line than last year's, but that's an asset.
Kelly did say that the team did run well with a 2nd-string offensive line. Wasn't too concerned about Anthony Davis giving up that sack. And for him right now, it's finding out the proper 5 to put out there, because he did see good things from both the 1st-team and 2nd-team offensive line.
There were some times, each guy did pretty well. Anthony I watched a lot because I wanted to see how he did back. And, he gave up a block where he got, bull rushed, and that's not good, obviously. But I watched to see how he came off the field, whether he was going to be irate, yelling at somebody. He took it in stride because he's been through this for like 6 years. One play's not going to change who he is, and I thought he did fine. And it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds between he and Trent Brown, who they want to start at right tackle.
All right, that's going to do it for us from Levi's Stadium. Cam will be in Denver throughout the week. Be sure to follow him on Twitter for the latest with the 49ers. For Cam Inman, I'm Courtney Cronin. Thanks for watching.